4, waiting for someone else to solve your problems and challenges. Again, back to the whole thing about being grown and not knowing how to take care of yourself, because a lot of that deals with waiting to be rescued, waiting for a parent figure to come along and take care of things like bills, all right, relationship problems. You know, I knew an adult who had gotten so caught up in that whole piece that I mean, she barely knew how to function, because it's funny because she happened to carry all these other traits too. She always blamed other people. She was always running away from her problems. She was always criticizing other people, and she was used to other people handling her problems for her, which started from when she was a child, and her father would just get her out of all kinds of messes. So she never really saw that she had to be responsible for anything, and so it just furthered a cycle into her becoming an elder. It's not pretty. And the last thing here that Brother Harris mentions is pretending that everything is okay. You ever meet people like that where they're just in la-la land? I've met people where they, again, this goes back to that whole thing about not being able to deal with reality. With some, it's about trying to put on a facade to the outside world, but for others, it's about not being able to handle the reality of their lives because they feel they're not equipped to deal with it. Therefore, the best way to deal with it is to be in denial. Everything is wonderful all the time. That's the kind of thing you also see in, unfortunately, in many multi-level marketing programs, where they get you to the place where you think that everything is just this wonderful, idyllic panacea. And people like that, I tend to be very careful about. But anyway, all of these are signs of low self-esteem. Now, the question is, because it's always about finding the solution, what do? You have to have a strong sense of imagination, because it's important for you to envision what it is you want to become. Take a look at the friends that you have around you. Are they as supportive as they can be? Are they high achievers? Do they want the same types of goals? Maybe not necessarily the same goal, but they're driven. They at least want better for themselves. You need to get a strong support system. You need to have people around you who believe in you, all right? So that means a lot of times you have to cut folks off who are just not holding your best interest at heart. Because surely, if you want better for yourself, that means they have to take a look at themselves and see, wow, why am I hanging out in the bar? Why am I sitting up in the movies all the time? Because I don't want to deal with reality. That's another escapist thing that I've seen with some folks. They're just always either they're sucked into the TV or they're constantly in the movies. They can tell you about every single movie that's out. Okay, they can tell you about the trailers. They can tell you about the movies. They can tell you about who was in it, who was the cinematographer, everything. Because the fact that that's their other world. Okay, but again, it's still escaping reality. Ironically, with this one person I'm thinking of, he used to be in the movies all the time, and then he would leave there and go to where? A bar, escaping reality. But again, positive people who are positively focused, okay? You want to spend time also in talking about the imagination, just sitting and thinking about what it is that you want to manifest, because again, everything starts with your thoughts. It starts with the mind. What is it you believe about yourself? Do you believe the best of yourself, the best about yourself? Do you see yourself as just continuing to have a life that's barely mediocre because you think that's all you deserve? Now, of course, there are different levels of mediocrity and what people accept as mediocrity. I myself, I live a decidedly simple life, but within that, I do carry a certain level of taste and expectations in my world. I don't believe in excess. I really don't. But I also do believe in quality and living in the best way that you can, even within the means that you're given. But I spend a lot of time thinking about what it is that I want, because even though I live a simple life, I always want better for myself. I always want to reach higher, and I make out my goal list every single year, and I keep it on me. I take it out, and I look to see where I'm at with my goals, okay? I spend time envisioning where I'm at with my goals, and what it is I want for these, what will this look like? Because certainly you don't really know where you're going if you can't see. If you don't have a map, if you haven't made a map for yourself, then you have no idea where you're going, okay? or also how to get there. So you have to be able to see where it is in your mind's eye that you want to be. If there are character traits about yourself that you don't like, then first make a list of all the traits that you do like about yourself. Then make a list of all of the traits you don't like about yourself. Be very honest. Then take that list, go to a mirror, look in the mirror, say to yourself all the wonderful things that you have listed about yourself, and then also say all the negative things you have listed to yourself. But then look in that mirror and tell yourself that I can change, because truly you have the power to change your life. So, in facing the mirror, it's a powerful exercise, because that is the ultimate in facing yourself. Some of us get so used to fronting because the world that we're in calls on us a lot of times to just pretend that we're something that we're not. That's not a good way to live. But there have been times all of us have had to, quote unquote, fake the funk. If you live perpetually in that state of faking the funk, then after a while the funk's going to catch up with you and define you. That's just truth. Okay? So, think about what it is to live in truth. That's the other thing. What is truth? There are people who just lie all the time. I mean, lie every day, all the time. And that becomes an accepted way of living for them until they're called out, and then the person gets frantic because they have created this whole world of lies. But then that makes it harder for them to really get to who they are, and harder for you to get to know who they are. If you're caught up in that whole cycle of lying to yourself, then tell yourself that truth is a wonderful thing. Recite the 42 oracles of Maat daily. Trust me, that will bring you to a place of truth, because when you do that, your heart opens, your heart artery, your heart chakra opens, and you're able to really see what it is that is in your heart. Ma'a means to see. Ma'a, M-A-A, that means to see. So in order for you to live in truth, you have to be able to see it in order to claim it. Okay? So be truthful with yourself every single day. Now I mentioned about creating a goal list. Write down the goals. Put it by your bedside. That's a common practice that's done by a lot of achievers. And make sure it's the last thing that you read before you go to bed. The first thing that you read after your prayers and meditations when you get up in the morning. Get that planted into your subconscious. Now I told you I have a list that I keep on me all the time. I will pull it out and look at it while I'm on the train, while I'm on the bus, and I'm again pushing. So that's my reality check as well. Now, what happens when you start to see the change come about? Alright? Get ready, because it's a whole new energy. Every time you experience a change in your energy, then there's going to be something like a vacuum trying to just suck you back so that you don't push forward. And it's usually during those times when you're about to face the greatest change, when you're about to really jump over that hurdle, that you get the greatest challenge of people trying to pull you back. Circumstances that come out of nowhere that try to yank you back on your coattails and just yank you back so that you're not able to progress forward. That's when you have to fight all the more. That's when you have to keep your goals clearly, firmly in mind as far as what it is that you want to achieve. And then something else you need to focus on. What is your life going to be like if you don't achieve your goals? If you end up one of those bitter people who is always talking about what they could have been, or waiting for that ship to come in even though they haven't even taken a boat and put it on the water themselves, you know what I mean? Because you have to create your own miracles a lot of times, alright? That boat can't become a ship until you first of all have to get in the water. A lot of folks do a whole lot of talking all the time about what they're going to be. But the truth is, if you see that they're still where they were, or even lost ground, in spite of all the talk, again, that's where you need to really separate yourself. So, let's just bring this to a close here. With the notion that again, we are living up to the best of ourselves, that we are living in excellence, and we keep in mind being in a place of excellence and expecting that for ourselves and also of those around us. You will begin to see how your circumstances will change for the better. You deserve it. You are worth it. Pt-Hotep, claim your personal power. Ankh Uja Senel.